Hello and welcome. This is Angie with CountryChicCottage.net. So today we're going to talk about Cricut Joy. We're going to talk about cutting matless. We're going to talk about using the smart materials from Cricut. But we're also going to talk about some experiments. So basically I'm going to take some other brands and types of heat transfer vinyl and adhesive vinyl and try to use them matless on the Cricut Joy and see what happens. So this is actually the first time I'm trying any of these. I'm going to try them right live on camera with you. And we're just going to see what happens. Will the Cricut Joy cut matless with just regular Cricut vinyl? Will it cut Oracal vinyl matless? Will it cut the Cricut brand of heat transfer vinyl matless? And will it cut B-Flex heat transfer vinyl matless? So 4 tests and our baselines with the smart vinyl and smart iron-on. Will it cut it? Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to use my Cricut Joy machine and then we're going to test a few different things. So I'm going to use the smart iron-on that is for the Cricut Joy and specifically labeled as such. Now it's 5.5 inches wide. So I'm also going to use regular iron-on from Cricut as well as B-Flex iron-on, which is another brand, and I'll link to where to get this below. We'll also use the smart vinyl from Cricut, that is the Cricut Joy brand, again 5.5 inches wide. We'll use their other brand of vinyl that I've cut to 5.5 inches wide, as well as Oracal vinyl, and I've cut it to 5.5 inches wide. So all of these, I just used a paper cutter to cut them to 5.5 inches. And like in the case of the B-Flex, it was super long, right? So I just folded the long roll enough times where it would fit into my paper cutter. And then I just made sure the edges were even at 5.5 inches and cut several times down the side to get through all the layers. And that left me with a roll that was 5.5 inches that'll fit in my Cricut Joy. So now let's fire up the Cricut Joy and I'm going to cut the same word from all of these and let's see what happens. Alright, so I told Cricut Design Space that I'm cutting without the mat on vinyl, and this is actually the smart vinyl that is the Cricut Joy branded vinyl. And so I have everything set, so it should just pull it in. It measures to make sure I have enough. Once the cut's done, we'll just unload that. Then we can take a look at the cut itself. And you can see that it cut the smart vinyl perfectly. So now let's try our other 2 tests. So first let's try the vinyl. This is the Cricut brand of vinyl, but it's not the Cricut Joy Smart Vinyl. I've just cut it to the 5.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and pick a setting like it is the Smart Vinyl and feed it in. And then we'll try to cut. Alright, so now that the cut's done, we'll unload and let's see what happened. Alright, so I'll just peel this back and the cuts are perfect. So it really didn't even, that I can tell, dig into the backing paper. We'll check that really quickly. So I'm just going to peel back the word a little bit. It really didn't even, maybe a little bit, but the backing paper is absolutely fine. So the Cricut, this is the Cricut removable, cut perfectly, just cut to the 5.5 inches and fed through the Cricut Joy. So now let's try the Oracal. So this is Oracal 651, cut into a 5.5 inch strip just with a paper cutter. So again, I'm just picking the smart vinyl setting to kind of trick the Joy itself, and then I'll just start feeding this in. So it measured it, and now we'll try to cut. now we'll just unload the cut. So I did notice the Joy self-straightens the material, and I loaded this a little Cricut, and it didn't self-straighten as much as it should. And it is cut through in a few places on the back. So we might do this with maybe less pressure, or kind of play with the setting itself. But I could say confidently that it can cut it. No, it's fine. So I could say confidently that it can cut it. Like I said, the backing paper is cut through in a couple spots, so I would probably do either less pressure on this setting or pick another setting that maybe would have a little less pressure on the Oracal. So I think it's going to depend on the brand you try, but you can definitely cut vinyl without a mat with the Cricut Joy without needing to buy the Smart Vinyl brand from Cricut. So now let's try iron-on. So this is the Smart iron-on material that's the Cricut Joy brand, and I'm going to put it in shiny side down. This time I'm mirroring my cuts so that I could actually iron it on just for a true test. So we're going to pick Smart iron-on as our material, and we're going to go ahead and load our material into the Joy. And now we'll go ahead and cut. And now we'll unload our material. This one I'll just use like a weeding tool to kind of pick up the corner and peel this back. So the Smart iron-on from Cricut, the Cricut Joy version, cuts fine. So let's cut some iron-on that is Cricut brand, but not labeled for Cricut Joy. Again, I picked the Smart iron-on setting, and I'm loading it with the good side down, and I've mirrored my cut. Now we'll go ahead and cut our material. Now we'll just unload. So we'll just peel up this corner and peel back the excess. So this cut great. It didn't cut into the backing paper like at all that I can tell. I think it would be fine. And everything looks really good. So there is the Cricut brand of iron-on, not labeled for Cricut Joy, but cut on the Cricut Joy Matless. So now let's go to the B-Flex. Now we can load the B-Flex material, again, good side down, and on the Smart iron-on setting. Now we can start our cut. And now we'll unload, and let's check and see how our cuts are. So I'm just going to pick up again in the corner and start peeling this back. So once again, the cuts look really good, and it's not really cut into the backing paper at all, so I think the setting I used was fine. So there is B-Flex Cut Matless with the Cricut Joy. So here are a few different examples of heat transfer vinyl that I cut with the Cricut Joy, all without a mat. So, surprise, it works. Alright, so this was the vinyl, the Cricut Smart Vinyl made for the Cricut Joy. This one is Cricut vinyl that I cut to 5.5 inches wide. Cut great. This is just the Oracal 651. Now, it did cut through the backing paper on it some, so I would kind of play with the settings, but it definitely will work. This is the Smart Iron-On from Cricut. This is Iron-On from Cricut, not the Smart version that I cut down to 5.5 inches wide. And this one is B-Flex heat transfer vinyl, and it cut it fine. So I'm going to link a source that you can get like the B-Flex, the Oracal at, one of the sources I use, super inexpensive. So if you're looking for a less expensive alternative, maybe you have some heat transfer vinyl at home and you're wondering if it'll work, I definitely think it will. I would watch it, so cut it to that 5.5 inches. Like I said, I don't think some of them like self-corrected as much as the Cricut brand. So if you noticed on the Smart Vinyl, the Cricut Smart Vinyl, there's a white edge on both sides, and I feel like the sensor maybe uses that edge to self-correct quite a bit. And so I didn't feel like it self-corrected. So watch when you load it, make sure you get it loaded in there straight. Watch it as it cuts, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Now, will it work with all brands? I don't know. Will it work with all designs? I don't know that either. I can't test every design in every brand, but I can tell you that these worked. These look amazing, so I definitely think you should give it a try. So if you loved this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about anything we did today, please feel free to ask those in the comment section below. Have any questions about your Cricut Joy or Cricut machine in general, you can ask those in the comment section below as well. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of our Cricut videos. And I want to thank y'all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week with another great Cricut video. Thanks y'all. Bye-bye.